safety of their citizens across their state and not securing the safety of their political positions and their lobbyists.
From the political aspect of this, the human aspect of this, how are you and your friends coping after 17 people were killed in your school?
At this point, we're coping as well as we can be, as anybody could imagine, but I think what's really important to realize is when we stand together as Americans, when I stand together with people like Emma Gonzalez or Cameron Kasky, we come together and we learn to love each other, and that's how we have this support, and that's why I've been able to stay so strong. It's because of people like Emma and Cameron.
Do you feel that there has already been change? First in the Florida legislature, which for the first time in 20 years they had some gun restrictions on the legislation, and now in Washington, the omnibus bill that was signed yesterday.
I think we're seeing a small amount of change, but what's often left in these bills is loopholes so that people can continue to get around them. For example, in Florida, you can be 18 and still purchase a firearm privately. You don't need we don't have a universal background check system. We have so much further to go, and we need to hold officials accountable and not say this is not enough when they try passing these bills with many holes in them.
You know, if you look at the dialogue out there right there are those on the opposing side who say you're being propped up by adults with the anti-gun reform group. What do you have to say to those critics out there, you know, namely many in the NRA?
Say to them, realize that we're not trying to take your guns. We understand, just like we have a right to say whatever we want through the First Amendment, they have a right to own a firearm through the Second. We are not trying to take your guns. We're trying, just as much as you have a right to own a firearm, we have a right to our lives, and we're going to fight for that.
David Hogg, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Registering young voters is possible.
Okay, guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me back at the station, but again, that was David Hogg right there, one outspoken student who we will hear from on the main stage very shortly between 12 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. So you got a little bit there of his call for change that he will be bringing to this large crowd, expected to be around 1 million people. Coming up later today. We're not too far away from the stage right here, interviewing a number of people here behind me that have been very outspoken on this issue over the last 5+ weeks. Again, a number of these students coming from South Florida all the way up here to Washington, D.C. on Friday and on Thursday of this week, working through that legislative process. Some of these students had meetings with senators and representatives on Capitol Hill. So those talks continue in the days and weeks to come. And like you heard David Hogg just say a few moments ago, the get out the vote effort in the midterm elections is very important when it comes to their agenda and what they're pushing for, not only in Florida, but also across the country as well. So we're going to kind of mill about here and try to talk to some more students. So I know you guys will be dipping into our coverage, but we'll toss it back to you for right now.
All right, Jeff, in our nation's capital, we appreciate that. There with those students who traveled from Marjory Stoneman Douglas to be heard in our nation's capital. You're looking at live pictures of different marches throughout our country, and back here at home, live pictures as we listen in to Marjory Stoneman Douglas students at a rally in
of gunshots echoed the walls of the 1200 building. My name is Samantha Mayer, and on the 14th of February, I was shot in the knee in my 4th period classroom. My classmates and I laid helplessly on the floor, hearing and feeling rapid gunfire. As I am aware that the horrific tape that replays in my head will never be rewinded, I am also aware that the need for change is overdue. Change was due before 17 lives were brutally taken from such innocent souls. I acknowledge that change comes with time, but when time is so precious, it is hard to wait. It is time for an immediate change. The time for change is now. Children deserve to live full, long, happy lives. Before another heinous crime is committed, before more helpless lives are ended, we need to change this for our students. One can only begin to feel safer once change is made. My name is Samantha Mayer, and this is why.